As middle school partnerships with 4th grade Our next task was to view articles that discuss Sherlock Holmes' mindset and the way he observes. One specific article talked about inattentional blindness, which occurs when you focus so much on a certain topic that everything else flies past you. A way you could prevent inattentional blindness is by being mindful. Sherlock Holmes' secret to being mindful is being able to see and observe at the same time.
Studies have shown that we are not always thinking. The secret to becoming mindful like Sherlock Holmes is to not only see, but observe as well. You could see that there are multiple steps that you are walking on when you go up a set of stairs, but are you observing and counting the exact number of stairs there are in the set? That is the question.
The articles connect to this project because Sherlock Holmes uses close observation. We must use close observation to look at the different leaves in real life, and using Corinth to view 3D models. It connects to the leaf on Corinth because using Corinth we are able to see all the details of the leaf, like Sherlock Holmes sees all the details of his cases.
The confluence of seeing and observing is central to the concept of mindfulness, a mental alertness that takes in the present moment to the fullest, that is able to concentrate on its immediate landscape and free itself of any distractions.
Another connection we had with Hound of the Baskervilles and what we're doing in our project is that the character Stapleton is a botanist.
A botanist is a biologist who specializes in the study of plants.
It connects to what we're doing because we went to a garden called Kubota Garden and we used jeweler's loupe to kind of magnify into a leaf and study the leaf.
The teachers also gave us a OneNote page with the overview of the entire project, in which middle school students could edit. We used the page to collaborate and take down notes for this process, and we could always go back to the OneNote if we were confused on what to do next. It included the requirements for this video, instructions of what to do as a team, and several websites to visit for research. It basically acted as our
After reading the articles and drawing leaves from memory, the 4th grade and middle school took a trip to the garden near our campus. Our task was to use a jeweler's loupe to observe the different leaves. The jeweler's loupe gave us a clear image of the leaves. We then made connections between our past experiences and looking at the leaves to create a poem using simile and metaphor. Here are some examples of drawings that were made while looking closely using a jeweler's loupe and close observation. When observing things, there are two ways you can reason. There is objective reasoning and subjective reasoning.
A subjective statement is based on one's feelings or opinion. A objective statement is based on true facts.
This is a leaf. This leaf is green. It's a leaf green leaf. Some artists may say this is Kelly green or emerald green.
Or perhaps John Green.
John Green. That reminds me of sitting in the shade of the tree and reading Shakespeare's romantic plays like Much Ado About Something.
It's Much Ado About Nothing.
I went and saw it at the Seattle Shakespeare Company, and I observed the title, and I'm pretty sure it's Much Ado About Something. Whatever. I also like to read Romeo and Juliet.
You mean Romeo and Juliet?
No, I don't. And Hamlet.
That's a tragedy.
You're a tragedy!
This is a leaf that many poets and artists may consider as Kelly green or emerald green, while on the other hand, less sophisticated people may argue that it is merely leaf green. But we all know that artists cannot accurately objectify facts. We don't need whimsy here, we need hardcore evidence. It is approximately 3 8800 inches starting from the tip of the blade to its petiole, and at its widest point it is 1 8800 inches wide. Social organ of vegetation of lateral outgrowth from the stem. I could go into plant nomenclature and the binomial classification system with morphological characteristics.
And a Midsummer Night's Dream.
Now that we understood more types of reasoning and observation, we started to observe and research more about leaves.
Most of the internal features of leaves are involved with supporting photosynthesis and managing the exchange of gases between the plant and the atmosphere. In this depiction of the interior of a typical leaf, we can see that the cell layers of the epidermis are found on both its upper and lower sides. This tissue layer is usually fairly transparent and is coated with a waxy cuticle on its upper side to help prevent water loss. The epidermis is perforated by many openings called stomata that are much more numerous in the lower epidermis in dicot plants, but are equally distributed in monocots. The stomata act to regulate the flow of essential gases between the outside air and the interior of the leaf. Mesophyll cells occupy most of the leaf's interior. In flowering plants, as well as ferns, the mesophyll is divided into two layers. The first, called the Palisade Mesophyll, consists of elongated cells, 1 or 2 layers thick. These cells are where the majority of the plant's photosynthesis occurs. So naturally, they contain many tiny chloroplasts, the green-colored organelles where the process of photosynthesis actually takes place. Beneath the palisade layer are the rounder, more loosely packed, spongy mesophyll cells. Because less light reaches the spongy mesophyll, they contain fewer chloroplasts and perform a lot less photosynthesis than the palisade mesophyll cells. The stomata open into the air spaces between the spongy mesophyll cells. These air spaces contain carbon dioxide, water vapor, and oxygen, which are the essential gases involved in photosynthesis and cellular respiration. The leaf's veins pass through the layer of spongy mesophyll. Each vein is made up of a vascular bundle containing tubes of xylem that carry water and minerals up from the roots into the leaf, as well as the tubes of phloem that carry the sugar-rich sap produced by the mesophyll cells out of the leaf. In addition, tough sheaths containing lignin surround the vascular bundles, and they provide the leaf with a good deal of structural support.
We also use a set of programs created by a company called Corinth. These set of programs were made to present things that would be too big or too small for the human eye and put them into a 3D model at the touch of your fingertips. 3D models help us see things that are too large or too small in a virtual reality. 3D objects help teach careful observation because it reveals the simplicity or complexity of an object. We asked our 4th grade partners to see what they observed between the differences of normal observation of a leaf compared to Corinth's models of a leaf.
The difference between Corinth and your own eye is because when you look at Corinth, it's like you can just see everything in it, and with your own eye, you can just see like just the outside of the leaf.
So when you look at a leaf with Corinth, you can see all the little details that a leaf carries with it. And when you look with your own eye, you can't really see all the little details that a leaf holds. With Corinth, you can see all the little details.
Corinth helped me see more layers in the leaf. And now I know that the leaf isn't just one layer, that it has more layers inside and it's thicker than what I thought it was.
We also asked them different connections they can make between Sherlock, leaves, and observation.
The connections I can make is that when in Sherlock Holmes, when he was looking at a leaf, he could tell where the wrinkles are, and he knows like all the details by observing the leaf. And by using Corinth, we can see all the details in the leaf, and we can see where the wrinkles are in it, like how Sherlock Holmes did. That Sherlock Holmes has with Corinth is that when in Hound of the Baskervilles, he observed a cigarette and then he knew it was his friend's. And then in Corinth, you can observe very, very much detail.
The connection that Sherlock Holmes has to a leaf is when he looks at a leaf, he finds the little details in them.
A few middle schoolers also wanted to voice their opinions and connections they could make with Sherlock, leaves, and observation.
So I find that interesting that if you find like a leaf along the ground or a path, some people say, well, it's just a leaf. It's as thin as a piece of paper. There's nothing like very detailed about it except for its ribs. But if you were able to see the inside of a leaf and you just ripped it open, you would see that there's a whole nother universe in there that we can't see. And it's so small that it's hard to imagine what it's like inside.
A stone is nature, and it could have been there from the very beginning, or someone could have kicked it and left it in that exact spot. You have to observe your surroundings, observe the stone, and think critically about how it got there.
And same with a watch. If you suddenly find one while walking on a trail, you have to think like a detective and create reasoning and observe. Again, how did this get here? And this also connects to how Sherlock sees and observes his surroundings. Of course, you could see a stone and watch randomly in the middle of a trail, but are you going to observe it and question how it got to the location it is at?
In 1802, theologian William Paley presented one of the best-known expositions of the design proof.
In crossing a heath, suppose I pitched my foot against a stone, and were asked how the stone came to be there. I might possibly answer that for anything I knew to the contrary, it had lain there forever. Nor would it perhaps be very easy to show the absurdity of this answer. But suppose I found a watch upon the ground, and it should be inquired how the watch happened to be in that place. I should hardly think of the answer which I had before given, that for anything I knew the watch might have always been there. Yet why should not this answer serve for the watch as well as the stone? For this reason, and for no other, that when we come to inspect the watch, we perceive what we could not discover in the stone, that its several parts are framed and put together for a purpose.
In the thrilling mystery novel, The Hound of the Baskervilles, written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Holmes solves the case by observing every detail like dog hair or cigarette ashes. This all leads to the big reveal. Who is behind the Hound of the Baskerville? Understanding how something is built and functions will help understand the object better overall.
In the book, The Little Prince, the fox says to the little prince, "What is essential is invisible to the eye." In observing things and deducing things, you must get a very close look at things to find the essential pieces of evidence connected to the mystery.
Blended learning, also known as transdisciplinary learning, is when you take multiple subjects and combine into one or more lessons. A well-known type of blended learning is STEAM, which is an acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. Our middle school recently did a STEAM project where we had to design and build a cardboard chair that could support the weight of an average adult male.
This project included science or specifically physics. When we exerted force on our chairs by sitting down, weight was distributed throughout the chair. To make sure the chair didn't buckle under our weight, we used engineering to build a chair that could successfully hold up our weight. Making scale drawings and models before constructing falls into the categories of art and math. This observation project is also a type of blended learning.
Throughout the year, we have went on many field trips, which is experiential learning. One of these field trips was to play The Hound of the Baskervilles at the Seattle Repertory Theater. Sherlock Holmes uses his extraordinary observing skills to solve the mystery in this play. This connects to us researching and observing the molecular structure of leaves 5 months later. Just like Sherlock broke apart the case into many mysteries, we are breaking down a leaf and analyzing its structure.